Hi there, I'm Joe Vachon with Lieberman Software, and thank you for joining us today as we take a high-level overview look at the Enterprise Random Password Manager, or what we call ERPM. So just what is ERPM? Well, it's an enterprise-level password management and recovery solution that allows you to automatically discover the existence of all of the privileged identities and where they are being used in your environment, and to automate managing them. Well, more specifically, what does ERPM do? It automatically discovers the existence of those privileged identities in your environment and where all they're being used in such places as, say, services, tasks, COM identities, DCOM components, and allows you to automate changing the passwords associated with those. It allows for the secure, audited, delegated remote retrieval of those passwords for the ongoing management and maintenance of your network. It centralizes and automates the management of those privileged identities that you currently cannot manage in your environment. What does ERPM offer you? Well, it gives you the ability to identify these privileged identities in your environment. It gives you visibility that you currently don't have in your environment of what accounts exist in your environment and where they're being used. This is a visibility you don't have because the network operating system architectures don't offer that to you in your environment. We offer that to you and then allow you to delegate the secure remote access to those privileged identities for the ongoing management and maintenance of your environment. We allow you to enforce security in your environment by meeting your password complexity security requirements. We also allow you to enforce security by giving you the ability to manage these privileged identities and their associated passwords because you currently can't, because doing so is too cumbersome, or you don't know where they're running and you don't know what's going to break if you try to manage the passwords associated with these. And all of this is fully audited. A bit more about the password management. The passwords are stored in a SQL or Oracle database backend, proven enterprise quality databases you already have deployed in your environment, and they're stored in there using AES 256-bit military level encryption for the protection of those passwords. These passwords can be recovered on demand by delegated users in a secure fashion. We have complete workflow process management available for you, and after these passwords have been retrieved by the delegated users, they will be re-randomized and managed afterwards to secure your environment. But let's take a look. The Management Console of the Enterprise Random Password Manager allows us to automatically discover or identify the existence of the privileged identities in our environment that exist on our targets, our workstations, our servers, our databases, and such. Having automatically identified this information, we can take a closer look and see valuable information such as password age and days. All of these columns are sortable, and we can also export this information into a report. This is highly customizable, so we can add in our own logo, our own colors, our own layout, and make this our management report. If we take a closer look, we can also see information about the privileged identities in our environment, what privileged identities are running on servers, workstations, and we can take an account-centric view by looking at the accounts themselves. We can even focus on individual accounts. We can see where that account is running. Having automatically identified this information, we can enforce the security of these privileged identities in our environment by changing the passwords associated with those, and exhibit lots of control over the password policies to meet your password policy requirements to enforce the security in your environment. We can also control what we reach out to enforce the security in our environment, and what we actually manage in our environment when we are updating these. And then we can automate this process. It's just that simple. Delegated access to the recovery of your privileged identities for ongoing management and maintenance of your network is done via a secure portal in your environment. Not a website that's in the cloud, but in your environment. Our user Fred logs in, and Fred will see only what we have delegated Fred access to see. Fred needs to recover one of those privileged identity passwords. He selects passwords, and he will be presented with that which we have delegated him access to in a secure, audited fashion. Fred needs to retrieve the password of a privileged identity associated with a server, device, workstation, database for ongoing management and maintenance of the network. So he selects it, selects Recover, and then he must account for himself. And Fred is given this privileged identity password that we are automating, that we are automatically managing using the Enterprise Random Password Manager in our environment. Fred has this password for a specified period of time. He has sole possession of it. Now we have a locked-down audit trail. Now we have security enforced in our environment. If Fred is finished with it, he can check it back in. Or at the expiration of this time period, it will be checked back in, it will be re-randomized and managed. Fred can also extend it if he needs more time with possession of those credentials while he's working on our target, our server, our workstation, our database, our device. Phonic pronunciations are also available to the end user to assist with difficult, complex passwords that are securing your network. When Fred is finished using the password, he simply checks it back in. This password is now managed. The Enterprise Random Password Manager allows us access to full audit trails of all access to our privileged identities and their passwords. We can filter between dates, times. Perhaps we wish to see all operations, or more specifically, maybe we want to take a look at information such as password checkouts only, perhaps associated with a certain account, associated with a certain machine, or specific users. Here we can begin to see more information, such as the reasons privileged identity passwords were checked out, what privileged identity had its password checked out, by which user, where they were, and a day and timestamp down to the second. All this information is fully exportable into reports. Stick around because next we're going to take a look at our fully customizable compliance reports. Compliance reports are stored in a secondary database. Included among the pre-configured reports is information such as all stored passwords. Here we can see information on our privileged identities, such as, is it stored encrypted? When was it set? Is it a fixed password or a randomized password? Is the password currently checked out? The compliance reports are stored in a secondary database that offers us a wealth of information, allowing us to create our own customized reports to help meet our audit needs. Additionally, the Enterprise Random Password Manager can monitor its own privileged identity management activities and output such information to our partner platforms, such as ArcSight and BMC Remedy, to help meet your security and compliance needs. To learn more about the many ways that the Enterprise Random Password Manager can help you identify and secure the privileged identities in your environment, please visit us on the web at www.liebsoft.com, or feel free to contact us. We'd love to hear from you. Well, until next time, I'm Joe Vachon with Lieberman Software. Thanks for watching.